Hi everybody, Giselle Grenier here from artplace.ca. In today's Book of Backgrounds video, I'm going to be playing with monoprinting using a jelly plate. You can find these online. You just have to Google jelly plate, G-E-L-L-I, and there are tons of recipes online how you can make your own. It does take a little bit of work, but there are ones that you can make your own. So I've got my plate here and I'm going to line everything up in the video. Okay. I'm going to be doing technique and then on little pieces of paper, and then I'm actually going to do my actual background, because the background I'm working on is this one here. So if I screw this up, then yeah, I can upcycle it, but I want to show you the techniques of what you can do. And with jelly printing, once you get started, doesn't necessarily mean this particular product, this thing here. When you get started with mono printing, which is like one print, and make ghost prints and second generation, third generation, you can't stop. You can't stop. It's so addictive what you can do with this. I'm going to be doing another video with jelly printing called Blue Box Finds, and the stuff that I've pulled out of my blue box to do some printing. So to get started, first some prep work. If you haven't already, or if you've been taking my advice and just batch prepare these, I have a whole bunch of pieces of scrap paper. These are just pieces of paper. I've prepped some with gesso, not all the way through. And I use the DecoArt Media, it's a white gesso, with the number 8 Bristle Bright. And I smushed it over, and some parts like here I let the gesso run out. I've got some canvas paper. These are all from Royal Brush. It's called the Essentials line. You've got acrylic paper here. This is their canvas paper. And then in here somewhere there's their watercolor paper as well. But that's the watercolor paper. Use whatever you have handy. Okay, this is unprimed, so we'll see what happens. I'm not going to make this many because I have some other videos I want to save these for. All right. First thing we're going to do is we're going to try rolling and stenciling. And I'm going to be rolling on some red paint, make an impression. I'm going to roll some yellow paint, make an impression. I'm going to apply a stencil, roll some paint, and make an impression. What I'm looking for is high contrast with reds and yellows. So if working on this, and with the environment I'm in now, I think I'm going to be okay. If you're working in a really hot, dry environment, you may want to add a little bit of matte medium or some extender to your plate so your paint will stay wet a little bit longer. And the colors I'm going to be using will be the DecoArt Media Fluid Acrylics, Primary Cyan, Titanium White, Hansa Yellow Light, and Pearl Red. And I will try very, very hard not to talk so fast. And these are good because they are fluid. So I'm going to make and you can squeeze this right onto your plate. But what I like doing this is that it just rolls the brayer, and then I get more of a grungy look. Okay, and I'm going to make my impression. That's it. That's all there is to it. And there are so many different ways of doing this. Okay. That's not bad. Okay, this paper. This is the back side of canvas paper. Let me try on this side. This is dry already. It's dry already. Coming up now. So let me just roll directly on here. Let's see what happens. And I'm going to be doing an experiment as well using plexiglass. For printing. It's not as flexible because this has got some bounce to it. Ideally, if your paper is gessoed, the paint will sit on top of the paper. When it's unprimed, that's better. When it's unprimed, it soaks into the paper. It takes a long time to dry. All right. This now, yeah, you can clean it, but you can also create second generation prints. Now see all these lines? So I'm going to go on the side here. And let's take one piece that's unprimed paper. Let's take another piece. Let's go over here. Let's go over here. Let's go over here. You know what I'm doing? I'm cleaning the plate. That's interesting. Oh, this room took... Okay, see? Primed, unprimed. Look at the difference. Look at the difference. So I'm going to... Okay, make sure you have room. Put your stuff to dry. Ah! And you don't really even have to clean your plate. I'm going to be putting yellow on there, so I do want to clean it. So I don't want orange. And that's all there is to it. No biggie. What do you do with that? You can roll on other stuff, or you can just keep going. I need to put a yellow on there. So I'm going to get, where did it go? Oh, hang on a sec. Another brayer, because I will need red. I'm going to get another brayer. This is a speedball, and this is a, okay, don't even ask me to pronounce this. ESSDEESD. And I'm going to take Hansa Yellow Light and just a couple of drops on that. Okay, that's really transparent. That's really transparent. Hang on a second. Okay, that's too transparent for me. So I was looking for another one. Shake your paints. Looking for another one that we could use to make the yellow a little bit more opaque. Let's see what this gives us. Yes, you can leave these little bits and bobs on there. I don't know what that is. Let's see what we get. So I'm going to, let's do some test impressions on this stuff. Let's see what it looks like. It's always nice to do test impressions. Oh, that's not bad. Okay, that's not bad. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Come on. A bit more yellow. Let's do another one. Let's go over here. Gonna leave this one a little bit longer. This is the back side of the canvas paper. That's not bad. Okay. I like that. I like that too. So that's, do I have room here? Yep. And all these things here, you can use them for ATCs, postcards, your small journal pages. You can use your die cut machine to cut the stuff out. You can emboss them. You can do so much stuff. Okay, that's not bad. Okay. I want to try another impression. Not pressing everywhere. Oh, I like that. Now I'm going to come over here, because now I'm going to get all the different layers on here. right, I like that. Now I'm going to put my stencil on there. This is a Deco Art stencil. It's medieval iron accent. Wonder if I have enough red. No, I don't have enough red. Oh, I'm liking what I'm seeing already. Okay, no, that's... I swear, you can get so lost in doing these. And as long as you're aware that monoprinting is not perfect, you'll have fun. Make sure you clean your stencils too. All right. Pull that off. Ooh, quick dry. And, oh, where's the center? Center. Look at that. Isn't that neat? Oh, I love that. Love that. Wonder if we'll have anything left on this. There's another one. What if we take the stencil, put it back down, and wipe away the paint inside. So you're going to have red on the outside and nothing on the inside. So what we need to do, red on the outside, so let's get a blank piece. This is starting to dry. We'll have just a light ghost print here. Just a light print. Cool. Okay, I was kind of hoping this was going to be a little bit more vibrant. So I didn't have enough paint on there. And I could put the stencil back over and stencil directly on top of the paper. And hope it doesn't move. Which I think it will. No, there's not enough. Do we have... Let's put a little bit more on there. There we go. I want something very high contrast. I think what I need to do for next time is just add more paint. Problem is if you add too much paint, it's going to seep underneath the stencil. That's what I was looking for. Yay. Cool. Love that. Okay. Where am I going to put that? Put that there. All right. So that needs to be cleaned. Put that aside. I've got all those. So now what I want to do is I want to work on using the same technique with blue, let's say with blue and yellow. But I need to clean all this off because if I add blue to this, it's going to turn green. And to clean this, there's instructions on the package. I just like using a baby wipe. And I'll just remove the paint. You won't get, I don't care if I don't get everything off of there. So I don't want to spend hours cleaning this thing. And this thing is really super easy to clean. You know, I could have misted it with water and, you know, wet the surface and just reused it for paint. Or reuse it for another print. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go and clean my brayer, clean the stencil. I'll be right back. Okay, we're all cleaned up now. So now we're going to do blue, then yellow, then blue. And that's the page I'm working on, so let's see what happens. I'm going to put the paint on here. This is Primary Cyan. And my brayer is a little bit wet. So just roll that on. You get different effects if you roll it on, you know, what I call it, like a printing plate, versus rolling directly onto the gel plate. There we go. Oh, that is really nice. Let me think. Is that the texture of the paper? You know what I did before? I used, no, that can't be the Viva paper towel. No, the pattern's different. That's the texture of the paper. That's neat. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to mist my brayer with water so it doesn't dry out. And I'm going to roll on, make sure that's dry. Roll on a little bit of yellow. Now it looks green. Put that on there. Push that. Oh, see how it turns green? It's because the yellow is transparent. That's why. The only way around that, you would have to use an opaque yellow, so you would have to mix it with white. Now, I'm going to dry this for a sec. Doesn't take long. And I'm going to come in. Now, the stencil. There's this one here. This is a Andy Skinner mixed media stencil. It's called Serendipity. And it's going to require a little bit of planning. We have to do this backwards. So I can either, if I stencil that on, put this on here, some of the words are going to be cut off, or I could just stencil it right onto here. So let's do a little bit of planning. I want to use the gel plate as my stamp. Okay, so I'm going to get Serendipity. I'm going to cover Beach. This will also hold the stencil in place. And what else? Can I use a little piece of paper for that so I'm not wasting so much tape? I don't know. I'm going to get a mark probably then. Yep, I'm going to get a mark. Let's see what we'll get if we just use, because the tape images will also transfer over if you were to, well, with what I'm going to do, that's what's going to happen. You'll see what I mean. You'll see what I mean. So now I'm making some geometric patterns. We'll put one there. And we'll put one there. It'll all make sense. It will all make sense. So what I'm doing is I'm masking off where I don't want any of the paint to go on. Is this going to work? I have no flipping idea. It's all about experimenting. Where's my knife? Come on. I'm gonna work fast on this part because I don't want the tape to stick. All right. That's what I want to stencil. Let's see. Let's see. I would love to put a metallic on this. You know that? I would love to put a metallic on this. Orange would be nice too. Red would be even better. Red. I'm going to work with red. Semi-transparent. Semi-transparent. Hang on a second. Let's cadmium red hue. I think there's a little bit of white in this. And we'll use the roller that the blue paint was on. And I'm going to be putting it on like that, so we have to make sure this side is well covered. So we've got different colors there. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Trying to remember if this is on this side. Didn't quite go through, but these are the second generation print. Got the text on that now. It didn't quite go through. I think the stencil is just a little bit too thick for that. Go. So if the stencil is too thick for that, what can we do? I am really liking this. Before making any decisions, let's take a look. Let's take a look. No, I can't do that. Let's take a look. I'm not going to take the whole thing off. Ooh! See, if you add too much paint, it goes underneath, and that's what happened here. So what I'll do is I'll just get my stencil brush and put enough paint to kind of fill, just put a little shadow. Do I have any red on that? I thought it would have been a good experiment. I think probably what may have been better is pushing the stencil down and then lifting it off to have a subtraction. There we go. There we are. So although I didn't quite get what I was looking for, this is actually pretty good. Oh, got red paint on the back. I got red paint on the back. And it's stuck on there. Oh well. There we are. That's not too bad. I would have liked the letters to be like this. That would have been really, really neat. So let's see, counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I got some double-sided to create a whole bunch of them. So there's the background that I'm going to be using, which will allow me to create some art over here, but this is going to be my prompt for this. So we've got that one. We've got the ghost print for this one. Let me just reach up to my drying rack. We've got that one, and we've got that one. We've got that one. Walk over, walk over. We've got that one and that one. So this is really, really cool. So this is just a quick little way of creating some really interesting and unique. I wouldn't be able to replicate this again. I wouldn't be able to. Some really, really interesting things. All right, so I hope that you enjoyed this little technique video. And if you've tried jelly printing, why don't you share your favorite techniques in the comments below? If you'd like to see more videos on jelly printing, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of the future videos. And if you've done some printing, I would love to see pictures. So feel free to email them to me or share them in my private Facebook group, which is made up of artists of all levels. Links to both of those can be found at my website at artplace.ca. So I'm going to clean up and get ready for another jelly printing video. And until I see you in that video, stay inspired.